Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our monthly ASM review show. Before I get the panelists on, I want to dedicate this show. I don't usually dedicate the show, but for this one, I thought it would be nice. Today would have been my grandpa's 86th birthday, and I thought he is the one that took me to so many comic book conventions when I was a little kid. He helped me love Spider-Man, and that's me and my daughter giving him a big smile on one of his birthdays. So this one goes out to Grandpa. Without him, there would be no Crawlspace. So thanks for inspiring and enabling my spider love. So much love to Grandpa. All right. Happy birthday, Grandpa. All right. Let's see who we've got on the panel. We've got our buddy Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Brad. How's it going? I'm just
Good.
enjoying one of the last few days of my paid vacation before I got to go back to work on Monday. Yeah. But other than that, been taking it easy.
Do anything fun over your paid vacation?
Aside from basically figuring, pretty much really catching up on certain comic book storylines.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. You're red in the air conditioning, hopefully.
Oh yes. Yeah. In the Pacific Northwest, we got it. We were actually getting we have some nice cooler weather and everything.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
We don't here in the Midwest. It's supposed to be 105 this weekend. Someone also in the Midwest is Peter, who's also sweating with me. What's up, Chi-Town?
Yeah. I just got back from vacation, and Mike, when you have kids, you look forward to going back to work, and just because that's kind of like a vacation from the vacation.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm catching up on storylines, and
yep.
Mark's been texting me all over when I was on the Crawlspace Beach House. Thank you, Brad, for letting me go out there this week, and I had a great time.
Strangely, Brad's never been out to the Crawlspace Beach House.
I know. They're like, who's this Brad guy? I'm like, he's my boss.
Yeah.
So
there you go. There you go. Oh, we also have JR. What's going on, JR?
Well, I guess I'm one of the few that is fortunate that my kids are old enough that they're both out of the house now. So,
well, lucky you.
Well, you put the foot in there behind and kicked them out, JR.
And still got to support them here and there, though. So they're gone, but certainly not forgotten. That's for sure. Particularly where my checkbook is concerned.
And we have Javi. What's going on, Javi?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
I like that Spidey. Tell me about that. What is that?
That is the Hot Toys PS4 Classic Suit Spider-Man.
That's good looking.
I think it came out about a month ago, finally, and I had some birthday money and a discount code and some reward points. So
nice.
This bad boy set me back like $40 out of pocket when it was all said and done.
Oh, because you had gift cards. I'm like, did they have a sale?
Yeah. They did have a sale, but it was only like 10% off. So.
This might be a strange thing to say, but I like the fact that the suit actually has wrinkles, so it doesn't look like it's like body paint or something.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's very much a kind of Alex Rossi, because anytime you pose them like the suit, it's a fabric, so it moves with it.
Nice,
which is cool.
The Hot Toys on their Facebook just put up something that I want to buy. It's in a little television. And
I saw that.
It's the little 67 Spider-Man swinging towards you, because it's the clear chest. It's just red. I don't know. I looked on Amazon. I looked on all the toy shops, and I can't find it as a pre-list.
It's probably going to take. It might be like an exclusive right now while they're doing their Sideshow Con, and something more available next week during San Diego.
Okay.
But this guy Brad has got different hands, of course, and different web lines.
That's cool.
You can take out his eye pieces. He's got like alternate eyes, so you can be like bigger eyes or squinty eyes.
Oh, that's
nice.
Really cool. That's awesome.
They make a huge diorama
that comes with
it. That goes behind like his base, and it's got in case you want to do it on the inside as well.
Nice.
Cell phone, newspaper, and then the bottom of the base, this scorpion tail.
Oh, nice! I love that.
So you can pose it around, and this articulates. And
only thing better would be a goblin pumpkin bomb,
right? Well, I think that's coming with the Norman figure from.
We were talking to I was talking to JR about the Norman figure from Hot Toys coming out, but $500, JR, you buying one of those?
No, not at all. Not at
Kelly will also be joining us shortly. She looks like she's just running a little bit behind. Kenneth says, hey. Hey, Walter's back. What's up, Walter? He's getting sleepy, he says. That's what George was last night. Walter says that this is one ugly looking cover, which is ASM number 5 that we're going to be reviewing. Let's see.
And not actually reflective of what happens in the issue either.
You got the variant? What'd you get?
Oh, of course you got the variant. He's the star.
I got that. I got like 3 of this one.
You got 3 of it.
This one.
That's a good looking one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, I got one to keep all nice. One for Jack.
Yep.
And Ramita Jr. and Wells are doing a signing with CGC, so I was thinking about submitting that.
Oh, nice.
Having them grade it and sign and all that. And
there you go.
We got several people.
Trayvon, special issue for me and all that.
It is.
Sarah saying hi. We got B Rich from Kansas City. Ryan saying hi. Michael saying hi. And Ryan just got back from vacation. So, all right.
I got it to the register, and my guy Eric was like, "What am I missing? What's so special about this issue?" I was like, "Well, my letter's in it, man. Sorry."
That explains it. By the way, if you're wondering, Peter and Javi's letter are in the letters page of this issue. So Crawlspace represent. You guys were back in there. I've never had a letter published, nor have I ever sent a letter in. So that's probably why it haven't been published. JR, you ever been published in the back of a comic?
Nope.
You ever sent one in?
Nope, never did.
Mike?
Never had the guts to try it, actually.
Try it. Do it.
Well, maybe.
It only took me 9 tries, Mike.
Okay.
Versus Peter, who has 9.
That's a good question. So for every 9, you get 1, right? Is that Javi?
Yeah, apparently. Okay.
Shy-Town, how many have you submitted?
9.
Oh, shut up. 9 for 9. You're almost the opposite of Javi.
Like when Peter got his first one in during the Spencer volume, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get my name in here. And it took this long.
Good grief.
So,
all right. So, Javi's got the recap of this one. Take me through ASM 899 or number 5.
Zeb Wells writer, J.R. penciler, Scott Hanna inker, Marcio Menyes colorist, and Joe Caramagna letterer. So Midtown. Digger and additional members of the Roses crew are en route back to headquarters after a much-needed ice cream stop, as seen right there.
Yeah.
They arrive only to find the building surrounded by the NYPD and FBI, who've already taken Richard Fisk into custody. So late to the party, Digger ditches his ice cream out the window and orders the driver to hightail it out of there. Credits.
Oh, yeah. Do they do a 2-page spread again on the credits? Let me look.
I think it was just a 1-page.
Just a 1-page. There you go. There's who wrote it and penciled it and inked it.
Yeah. Okay. So above the scene, Spider-Man sees with rage, having been manipulated by Tombstone. And as for himself, Tombstone is meeting with the other gang leaders, smugly denying a team-up with Spider-Man to muscle in on the Roses' territory. Over in Alphabet City, everyone's favorite debt collector is still stalking Peter outside his apartment steps, even though Paul paid off enough of Peter's bill for a couple of weeks. Like, this is like the next day.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days after Paul paid this guy off.
It's that Demno app. I'm telling you that it probably didn't go through or something like that.
Right.
It went through. It went through.
Yeah. An incognito Felicia arrives, switching into her Black Cat outfit and finding an unmasked Spidey sneaking in through the skylight, just like in the 80s.
Oh, so he has a skylight in the new pad, which I love.
Yeah.
Absolutely love.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But he is beat to hell, isn't he?
Yeah. With his mask off, Peter's face is just a lumpy, bloody mess.
Oh.
And he tries to brush her off, but Felicia stands her ground, calling him out, stating he's heartbroken. I wonder why.
Yeah.
We all know
softens, why. Admitting he doesn't know what to do. She advises him to stop playing hurt, to stop playing smart, and to start being himself. Most importantly, she reminds him that he's at his best when he's having fun. Peter smiles as she makes her exit. So kind of bookending the first issue, Spidey awakes at 6 a.m. the following morning, grabs some coffee, and by 6:30 he begins a stakeout of Tombstone's operation. By 6:01 p.m. he gets one heck of an idea.
Look at the lumps under the mask too.
Yeah. So Spidey heads over to the Rose's former hideout and finds Digger and his unnamed friend / coworker having a sandwich. Once Digger stops throwing desks at him, Spidey explains his plan for Digger to save some face with the Rose. So the scene shifts now to Tombstone's home in Long Island. So Robbie, Randy, and Janice get into their car and say their goodbyes, thanking their host for brunch.
Check out how cool Robbie looks, by the way. Look at him. Looking extra debonair. I like those glasses. Sorry. I think I just checked out Robbie. I don't know.
Now, as Tombstone heads inside to pour a glass of wine, his cat gets agitated by Spidey lounging on the couch.
There he is.
So, turns out old Spidey's been thinking. Now, Tombstone, with his clever misdirection, has made them a team, and maybe that isn't such a bad thing. Maybe they should make it all official-like, unless that would make all of Alonzo's mob friends mad. So Tombstone asks what Spidey wants, and since he doesn't have enough to put him away, and the power struggle that would ensue would be like kicking a beehive, all the wall crawler wants is for Tombstone to play nice out there.
Yeah.
So just then the phone rings, and it's the White Rabbit calling to advise her boss that Digger is currently trashing all their product in order to get in the Rose's good graces. The way Spidey sees it, this makes him and Tombstone even. Tombstone calls Spider-Man a weird dude and tells him to get out of his house. So Peter heads over to Aunt May's, hoping he can take up her offer for dinner. And she's shocked by his beaten face, to which Peter says he tried his hand at racquetball, and racquetball tried its hand at his face.
Yeah, right.
You know, one of those things.
Come on.
But May smiles and accepts, welcoming him inside, and Peter lets her know that it's good to be back.
Wait a minute. You mean Aunt May didn't decide to like, oh no, I'm leaving New York and going back to Boston, like according to that one rumor on 4chan said that basically.
and then he found out that he was evicted again and had to live on his face.
Oh my
yeah, Lord. Right.
And then it ends, doesn't it? I think that's the last. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
it.
Yeah. Well, don't forget the letters pages, Javi. You're in
letters
it.
Page.
Congratulations, Javi, by the
Right
way.
here.
Thank you,
Peter.
You too, man.
Peter's so full of it, he had to go to the next page. Hold on.
I like that we're back to back.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
back to
someone in
back.
chat just said crawl spacers are back to back here. Look at that. We take up almost
that's
the
cool.
whole.
That's cool. It
section.
does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. By the way, real quick, look at that face. You think that face knows?
Oh,
She's
would
gotta
She
know.
knows
She's
she's lying.
gotta
He knows
know.
she's lying,
gotta
but at this
know.
point, she knows he's lying. But at this point, she's like, well, that's Peter, so might as well just he's but he's got a good heart kind of thing. But even though I know he's not telling the truth, he's not being malicious about her or something. So
In number
And
one,
he's
she
coming
was
home to her too.
Yeah. In number one, she's so disappointed. And then a racquetball incident, and she's like, yeah, I'm over it. Don't worry about it. She's got to know.
Does she know with that face right there?
Oh, I felt that they were definitely kind of tipping that she knows.
Exactly. Same. Javi, you agree?
I'm not 100% sure if it's her knowing or her just accepting, and the important thing is that he came back and he came to spend time with her instead of like blowing her off or ducking out.
Yeah.
And so she's just happy to have him there.
Okay. All right. So good recap. What's your grade, sir?
A+.
Oh, wow. A+. Mike.
I'm giving it a B. I'll explain why.
Chi-Town.
B.
And JR.
Giving it a B-.
Oh, wow. That's higher than I thought. I'll give it an A-. I thought it was a good arc. I liked it. All right. Javi, list your pros. What do you like?
I thought the colors were really good. Like they added nice shade and definition to the characters and the sky, and that's for Neil.
Yeah. Yep.
I loved Ramita's art on this. It was top Spidey form for him, and the way that he handles everyone's body language, from Tombstone's annoyance to the way Spidey just kind of kicked back on the couch, to how ugly his face looked and how they kept it. Like, that swelling isn't going to go down,
right?
The next day, and the fact that even the mask was like kind of lumpy, like I just appreciated details.
I don't know what I think of that though. That image. I don't know.
I mean, it's not pretty to look at.
It isn't,
but it's not supposed to be.
Right.
True. Yeah.
I mean, it's it's kind of showing a little bit more. It's going back to sort of like, it's reflective of trying to go back to the grounded feel that Spider-Man should have a little bit. I mean, it's like, but
he was severely beat.
Looks like he needs to go see Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah, that's too.
Gross. And they did it here. You don't really see that in Spider-Man's face after he's beat.
You don't. Yeah.
Like, you can totally see that face under that mask there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever want to connect who Peter Parker is, or who Spider-Man is, look for the lumpy face dude.
Look for the lumpy face guy. Yep. Let's see.
What else, Hobby, for pros?
Peter and Felicia, their scene together, I think, was a definite highlight. I really appreciate Wells carrying on the characterization that McKay's been doing, and I think they work even better in this new phase of their relationship that Spencer kicked off with Peter revealing his identity again to her. Like, I like them a lot more as like close, intimate friends than them dating. And and the fact that she's the one to kind of kick him in the pants, because really she's the only one who can right now. And the fact that this is a return for Peter here. He's using what I think are his two greatest strengths, his mind and his spirit, to kind of get back in the game. Like, he starts thinking again, he starts caring again. I thought Wells has done a really good job with the humor of this whole arc, but I really appreciated just the way he does it here throughout the whole issue. The cat jokes, even, because hair gets everywhere, and that's just a fact.
That is true. Yes, that is a fact.
Cool.
Now, go ahead.
I was say, even Spidey telling Tombstone like that he was sorry he didn't have everything he needed when he was growing up. Like, I felt like on Peter's half, like, some people took it to be like a little snarky or was like a gotcha thing, but I think Peter was being genuine that he was sorry that Tombstone had such a crappy upbringing and that it brought him to this point.
That's the part that I was confused at. I mean, is he being snarky, or is he being actually sincere? Like, I really hate the fact that you didn't get everything.
I think he was being sincere, actually. That's amazing. Most of his issues, but it's supposed to be like a kind of a callback to the first issue where Tombstone calls Peter Parker, "You're a weird dude, get out of my car," and then Tombstone goes, "You're a weird dude, get out of my house." It's simple, because it's, to quote George Lucas, it's poetry, it rhymes. So
there's a lot of things that Wells brings full circle from the first issue, be it meeting with Aunt May. There's the whole time aspect, because after in the first issue, he's got that whole thing where he wakes up at 10 and then he goes to get breakfast and looks for a job. So this is all coming back full circle,
right?
Including the whole thing you just mentioned with Tombstone and "You're a weird dude, get out of my house, get out of my car."
Right.
And now that car thing you sent me, Javi, this is from the first issue. You wanted to show this, right?
He was talking off the very bottom panel.
Oh, the bottom panel. You're a weird dude, Parker. Ooh, is that kind of foreshadowing, like Tombstone may know?
No.
Well, no, it's just more like an echoing thing. I mean, honestly, any intelligent person would probably figure it out at this point. But I mean,
True.
But but this is comic thing. Now, the question I have, though, and I know some people have disagreed with me on this. Do you think that thing with Peter and Felicia on the rooftop was hinting at foreshadowing, like maybe getting them back together, or some kind of like, because well, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
go ahead. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, because the way Wells kind of was set this up, because remember, if you got Beyond, it's kind of establishing that, because Felicia was showing like how she was not only there for Peter, she was also helped him recuperate, and also because Mary Jane is quote unquote moved on, that leaves an opening now. And so I'm wondering if it's kind of hinting at maybe them trying to get back together, even though they all both know that they're kind of that Peter's still in love with MJ, but it's more like kind of a rebound thing. I don't know. I kind of got that maybe something like revisiting that period again.
Here's what I got from that. Black Cat's Felicia, she's stepping in as a supportive friend.
Right.
Black Cat knows that she loves Peter, but not in love with Peter. She doesn't approve of Spider-Man methods, no matter what. I mean, she's not going to approve of that. She's not going to be wanting to be in a relationship with that at all.
Right.
Now, we don't know what happened with Peter and MJ. And frankly, we still don't know. And if anyone has read X-Men Gallo, it gets even more confusing.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So I'm thinking that Felicia knows something is going on, but she's not going to make a move until she finds out what's going on.
Right.
She doesn't want to get involved in that drama because it's going to interfere with her business over there in her series.
Yeah, it just but that's but that's going to something to say for later. But that's more of an issue about the entire arc as a whole. But the other thing too. I mean, because it just kind of gave me pause a little bit, but like thinking, I wonder if Wells is setting something up to try to get more relationship drama.
I think that was just me. Just her character. She's always been kind of playfully flirty with him. Yeah. Whether you're watching, the Spectacular Spider-Man or playing the PS4 game, that's just kind of like her shtick. And I don't think there was anything deeper than, she's just trying to cheer him up and get him back in the game. And but it doesn't go beyond that. I think, given that Wells has been, kind of carrying up certain things that Spencer's left behind, like I don't think he would ignore that Black Cat Mary Jane issue where they really struck up a friendship. And
true,
because she goes to her first. As far as we know, she goes to MJ first to be like, what's going on.
And let's not forget that Felicia and Mary Jane are considered friends at this point.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't think she's going to do that.
Okay.
Let's go around for other pros. What else did we not mention that we liked? That we did like. A
couple things. I mean, I liked the characterization of Digger being basically somebody who is basically talking to multiple people at once inside his own head, and just like it's more character. It feels like it's more characterization we got during the JMS years, because we got to remember, if for context, Digger's supposed to be like an amalgamation of 13 different gangsters, like all merged into one. Of dead gangsters all merged into one person.
It's been 20 years since I saw that.
Yeah,
I read that, but that sounds familiar.
But because as with gamma radiated and stuff like that. So I like the fact that he's like arguing with himself and everything, and showing that whole thing, and I do like, but I'll get into it later. But I did like the fact that it kind of shows that while Tombstone was very strategic and street smart and everything, it shows that he was a little bit too clever by half, because it shows that, hey, yeah, great, you got Spider-Man to do your dirty work for him. Now all the bad guys are thinking, oh, does that mean you guys are actually working together to try to bump off your competition so you could be top dog? I'm like, oh, and then how Spider-Man kind of played on that a little bit and everything. So like kind of trying to use his little bit of his intelligence there to try to think. But at the same time, I'm kind of mixed about it, which we'll go into later. But I did like. But those were the main. But in terms of story wise, inspired from the other thing, those were the ones I really characterization wise I did like about that a little bit.
JR, what'd you like about the issue?
Well, kind of like Mike said, I like the characterization of Digger because it's so hard after all these years to come up with a villain with a gimmick. I mean, it's hard to come up with a unique villain. That has something that's not repetitive of 100 other villains that you've seen. So, before I go on, I want to answer one of the questions that was asked here in the chat. It's a very important question and demands an answer. Did George get his Whataburger last night?
Yes,
yes, he got his Whataburger. It was cold. and his fries were cold and limp as if
There
it
it
stepped
is.
out of a cold shower. So
He says, do not do the Whataburger app at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it's awful.
Not exactly
disagree.
re-endorsement for Whataburger my state at the moment, because they don't have Whataburger here. But
100% disagree. I use nothing but the Whataburger app and do
Always hot and fresh when you get it.
and do the carry out option.
Oh, well, carry out. Well, you go to the place and pick it
Yeah,
up yourself, right?
I ordered it at the app, and then when I get there, I park in one of the parking spots with the number, punch in the number, and they bring me the food, and it's hot.
That's what I do too. I do the same thing.
Yeah,
George
I
was
do
having
that.
a guy named Tyler, no relation to our friend Tyler, who's on the show. But Tyler quit mid-shift, we think, because he changed drivers.
Yeah, I saw part of that.
Weird.
Yeah,
That was
so
funny.
it took him an hour for his cold burger to arrive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was really bad.
Yeah,
So.
that's why I never have anything delivered. Never. I go get
Even
it myself.
pizza?
No, I go get it myself. I mean, for one, because I can always check it before I leave to make sure that it's what I got.
Yeah, same there.
You know,
'cause
and plus, you know, I don't know when the pizza driver has left. I don't know if he's got any other stops. I don't, you know, it's
He's high on amphetamine? No.
yeah. Well,
JR, you said Digger was a pro. What else is a
Digger
pro?
was a pro. I don't have anything particularly original. I mean, I liked, you know, I like the scene with the black cat, even though the very last panel, it looks like she's had a facelift.
She does. Huh?
You know,
Okay.
yeah, it just does. She just like she's been pulled back a little bit, you know, in that last panel.
Okay, hold on. You're going to make me go find it. Hold on.
Oh, you're talking about Aunt May. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the cat.
The cat.
Oh, really?
Felicia had a lift?
Because it looked
The
like Aunt
very
May-
last panel. Okay, I got her. Hold on. Here she is.
Well,
This
yeah,
is-
Aunt May looks like she's
that panel is the last time we see her. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it looks like she's kind of got the puffy cheeks and the the lips are.
No, it's not.
Like she got
I hate the new Kindle app. God bless.
So,
All right.
but I would say, and also Peter, you know, being smart for once instead of being an idiot, you know, so
Yeah.
you know, thinking something through and beating Tombstone at his own game.
She looks pretty good there.
Yeah, she looks fine there. I didn't say every panel. I just said
Oh,
the
okay.
last
I got you.
Yeah.
I just said the last one. She just because she just had kind of exaggerated lips and cheeks and
The puffy
you know.
cheeks, basically.
but it's like she
Still
got
look better than this dude. I mean,
True.
he literally had a facelift.
Mhm.
He'd probably be missing teeth too. I'm kind of
He
surprised.
would, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think he would be. I think he'd be missing a few teeth. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
might even have a broken jaw. I mean, even if he is super powered, it's going to heal. You know, but
I mean, if you look at the next day, it's almost like he's got Wolverine's healing powers because look, he looks a little bit better just from his cheeks.
Well, they
he
did
does have
establish that
accelerated
he feels,
healing.
yeah, he feels faster than normal people.
Because of the increased metabolism and all that
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other pros that we didn't hit up? Anybody?
Tombstone.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That was a good one.
Tombstone's a big pro in this whole arc.
It's a big spectacular Spider-Man animated series character of Tombstone, which I absolutely love.
Ah, yep. Javi sent me a more zoomed in look at Felicia's facelift. Hold on.
There we go. We've gone down the rabbit hole.
We have.
We must examine Romita
We're
Jr.
not Googling anything yet, so I think we're okay, Pete.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Let's see.
See. Let me get so I don't lose my future images that I'm going to show at the end of the show.
But to be fair, Faces trying to draw him consistently is always a kind of a hard thing to do.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid-
Okay.
Get rid of
Yeah,
the
no,
false
I see
banner.
it.
There you go.
It's the
I see what you're talking about.
because it doesn't look like she has a nose.
Yeah, it actually looks like something you plug in. You know, like it.
It's a wall outlet
Her nose
nose?
looks like a wall outlet. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Like you plug your cell phone into. You know.
It's part of it. It's
Oh.
because they're using the digital coloring on that and the digital inking, so it kind of doesn't quite have the same depth that you would necessarily have if you were like doing like regular traditional inks. That's probably
baby.
part of it. But yeah, it's kind of like
Looks
oh,
a
like
wall
no
outlet.
nose.
I've never heard that comparison before. You draw the girl's nose like a wall outlet, sir. Gary and the Frozen, what did Brad give and JR give the issue? I gave it an A-. JR, I think, gave it a B-, if I correct.
Mhm.
That's correct. That's
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
gotcha. Before we get to cons,
if I can ask JR really quick, did you like this arc overall compared to like Spencer's arcs?
No,
because you were pretty middle of the road at best for Spencer.
Right, because the stories were just all too prolonged. I mean, I didn't get that feeling with this particular story, but the problem is a lot of Spencer's stories just lasted too long. So, but I mean, I bet like we're going to get into cons, so
we are. Before we get to cons, I want to get some of the chat up here because I haven't been popping them up as much. Let's see. Hornacek says Peter's face is very Elephant Man-ish. Kenneth says I think the current Amazing Spider-Man series is good, but the John Romita artwork is iffy at best, but far better than his recent art at DC. Brian says Amazing Friends was his favorite 80s cartoon. Mine too. Kenneth asks, has there ever been an instance in the comics where Spider-Man broke the sound barrier?
I don't think so.
When he was Cosmic Spidey.
Spidey, yeah, he did. Yeah. When he was Fly, I would think when he became Captain Universe.
He went up into space, so yeah. Ryan asked, when did Robbie get those glasses between issues? He probably had them in a sport coat or something.
Those look like those colored sunglasses kind of thing, like not actually like prescription thing or something like that, because it's almost like those are like driving glasses or something.
Right.
Like,
well, he was wearing a suit, right? So he's got pockets inside the suit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi there. Wait a minute.
That's my daughter. She wanted to say hi.
Well, hello, Peter's daughter.
Matt says I sent a letter to Marvel's Spidey office, but it was back before the Clone Saga in the 1990s, and I asked why can't Peter and Mary Jane have a baby at the end of SM Spectacular Spider-Man 220, and it started. Well, there you go. You are the reason for the pregnancy.
So you're the guy. You're the guy.
You're the anti-contraceptive, Matt. Evidently. Sofalo gives the issue a B. Ryan says this Aunt May looks like a 70-year-old Marissa Tomei. Ryan says, yet I still have never had a letter in Spider-Man. Well, that's because Peter took all your turns. He's had 9, damn it.
Actually, not
blaming me for this.
Actually, not to get too much, maybe too much of anything, but Aunt May in this issue looks like my 8th grade English teacher. Actually,
I agree. No, I'm just kidding. No. Sarah says that Aunt May 100% suspects. Michael gave the issue a B. Kenneth says 8.5 out of 10. That would be a B. B plus out of Josh. Kenneth gave it a B plus. Ryan gave it a B plus. Josh says Tombstone continues to be the best character in this run. Title for this issue: Spidey gets his groove back. Kenneth also says Romita Jr.'s art at Marvel far better than his work at DC. Gary
I would agree with that.
Gives it a B. Yeah. The Peter and Felicia scene was really good. I'm glad that after so many years, her character is finally being written well, says Josh. Ryan says best Tombstone in years. If it wasn't for the Peter and Mary Jane situation, I would give this full marks, says Anime Hunter.
Absolutely.
The Mary Jane and the kids is my least favorite part of this.
Yep.
So it's the whole what Peter do in those 6 months is the thing that's dragging this thing. And it's all because they figure like, hey, because they're operating on the idea of like the mystery box is what's going to keep readers reading. And I really hope it's not one of those things where like we saw in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. It's like, oh, we're just throwing out a bunch of mysteries, but we don't really have any answers to them.
Yeah.
But until later, I really hope that's not what they're doing here.
Josh is trying to trigger Peter with saying that Mary Jane's obviously going to be with Paul forever. Peter may as well get back with Felicia.
We don't need to talk to Joshua at all. He's just a Dark Mark. He and Dark Mark can go somewhere and frolic with the Paul and Mary Jane theory. And just,
maybe you need to have a list, Peter. Like I've got a list. Maybe
I got a list. I got a list. I do have a list. It's on my phone, and Joshua's number 1 on the list.
All right.
Ryan
almost made mine yesterday, but not quite. But
Felicia's wondering what is going on with MJ, yet doesn't think that the debt collector doesn't think about that debt collector on Peter's stoop. Mary Jane better not be with this Paul character forever, says Anime.
There you go, Anime.
Let's see. Matt says, I always thought that the cat likes him as Spidey, not Peter, from as far back as Spec. Yep.
That's kind of changed, though, because now that you know... that's kind of
She's
because
grown
now
a little bit as a character.
Right. That's kind of changed. I mean, yeah, it's more like because she now knows she's now gotten to know the man behind the mask a bit, and so that's it's slightly different.
Ryan says it's nice to have Smart Peter back. Walter, what's up, Walter? He says, "What's more enjoyable, this issue or reading the credits from Minecraft?"
Okay,
that's a good question.
This issue.
Josh says, JR, that's a good point. Why do superheroes never lose their teeth despite the terrible beating? Probably because they have a good Marvel dentist, if I had to guess. So probably all those heroes probably have false teeth, don't they?
Well, here's the thing.
There was a special issue, JR probably has it, of Colgate toothpaste with Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. So Spidey's all about good dental hygiene.
But yeah, it's a good. That would be a good point. Like why superheroes should be wearing like a mouth guard or something in there.
That's true, like a football player would,
or boxers.
Do the witty repartee.
Yeah.
It probably would be terrible continuity though, because when you think about like if you have a character who's appearing multiple times, or or if it's like, and even the artist himself may not remember. Oh yeah, he's missing a tooth this time.
The only superhero thing I've ever seen where they had to address the situation like where their teeth get knocked out was like the original 2003 Daredevil with Ben Affleck, where he's basically pulling one of his teeth out of his back of his jaw because it got so loose, and popping painkillers.
Josh,
that's pretty much it.
Josh, thank you for the super chat and the dig at Chi-Town. Chi-Town, are you telling me that Paul and Mary Jane don't make a great couple? At least Paul hasn't sold his relationship with her to me.
Well, there you go.
Okay, Josh.
We don't know that for sure.
Well, thank you for the $5. We do appreciate that.
But you're on the list.
You were still on the list, and probably I'll put another check mark next to your name by the list. But yeah, they don't make a good couple because we don't know what their story is. And Paul didn't sell his relationship with her to Mephisto. Paul is Mephisto. Okay, so you have to put that into accountability.
I don't know what's an Orcus. What's Orcus?
Oh, Orcus is the it's the evil organization in the X-Men, basically comprised of like all like AIM and other.
Okay, so here you go. R021 says Paul is on Moira Jane and probably works for Orcus.
Well,
you're just trolling Chi-Town now.
Well, but that's going into spoilers for the Hellfire Gala thing, where basically it was
we'll talk about that on Satellites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Vinkman says it was an AIM toothpaste special, Javi. So there you go. Brad, I think he did Colgate and AIM. I think there's multiple toothpaste ones.
Brad, do you have any show and tell for Venkman?
You want me to look up AIM?
No. Check your Facebook.
Oh,
your DMs.
Okay, hold on. I gotta close the surgically altered Felicia.
What's up, Venkman?
Let's see. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay, copy and paste. There you go. There's the AIM right there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Nice. There was another one, I swear, that was like Colgate or something. I don't know. But
I've got that one in the other room, but
here's the question: Does this comic have any Hostess Pie ads? Because then you'd like get the association with like too much Hostess Pie.
No, because AIM paid for it, not Hostess.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised. Well, you know what? Hostess never went for the full issue. They AIM paid for 22 pages or something.
Okay.
Well, we do have the Brad. We want to do this on history one of these days.
What's that?
But the where Spider-Man is preaching abstinence.
Oh God, the Planned Parenthood Spider-Man special. It's very timely right now, isn't it?
I was about to say I need to maybe find a special way to be able to use that one. And but I remember showing it to Spencer, and he said, "Get that away from me."
Oh,
sounds like a Patreon exclusive.
That needs to do. I agree. Okay, it's now time for cons. Javi, hit me with your cons of this issue.
So the con is it's not a con for me because I'm not bothered by it.
Okay.
But the con, everyone's con is the mystery and the 6-month skip.
Yeah.
But that was never the point of this arc. It was never going to be revealed or resolved in these 5 issues. You know, they're telling a specific story, and, you know, we're going to get to it, and we just have to wait. Had this not, one, had all the printing delays and paper shortages where we would have seen it a lot quicker, it would feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to read totally different in a trade, you know, if someone picks it off the library in like a year or two. And if this wasn't coming off of whatever weird editorial ending that we got on Spencer's run, followed by a Beyond arc where Peter was sidelined, like, I don't think it would bother people so much if it wasn't coming on top of all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So me personally, I was able to put it to the side and wasn't expecting to get resolution or answers. And I'm just going to let the mystery ride and try and enjoy it until it's done. And then if we get to the end of it and it's awful, then, you know, I'll criticize it then. But for right now, I really enjoyed I was really surprised because I haven't been a Wells fan at all.
Same.
I liked his Peter Parker story that he did with Sandman at the beach, I think.
I didn't.
I think I liked it. It's been like 20 years, like you said.
Trust me, you didn't like it. I'm just kidding.
Right? What I saw of Shed, I did not care for, especially the art. But to have Ramita back on Spidey feels like home, and I've just enjoyed. Like, there's a whole story arc here. Like, Peter's in one place and he's in a different place at the end. Like, there's a change of character. Like, that's an enjoyable comic for me. There was action. There were moments that were tense. I don't really have a con for this. So
Ryan Reed has a good point. He says 900 is coming out in a couple weeks, and no prelude to it outside of issue 1, which is more mystery. So
but
this
that's what comics does, though. I mean, we have mysteries that get stretched out, like the Hobgoblin, or even too long, like Kindred. But
that mystery, which it will be 900, is probably the Doc Ock upside down. That's that will probably be solved in 1 issue, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but it's a big issue, isn't it? Like,
it's supposed to be like, it's 96 pages, I think.
However, how many are dumb backups that we don't want?
Well, there's supposed to be. I thought there was like 2 backups in there.
At least half.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's probably.
JR, you and I were bitching about this last night. I hate that.
Yeah, that's why because, you know, somewhat controversially, that's why I gave 800 so higher up on the Centennial issue, because it was one story at least. You know, so.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, if we're going into other cons later,
go ahead.
I do actually have one.
Okay.
For as much as I liked the fact that Peter was using his, you know, basically outsmarting Tombstone in his own game, I kind of wondered, would Peter actually do that? Would that be in character for him? Because remember, this is a guy whose whole existence as a superhero is defined by letting a bad guy get away. And here he's kind of like, oh, I'm going to make a deal with Tombstone, basically saying like, oh, you know, I'll leave you alone if you promise to play nice or something, or tricking also Digger to basically go rough up Tombstone's operation. And Digger probably killed guys. I don't know if he did or not, but he's probably not going to be as, you know, so I'm like, would Spidey actually do that? Would he actually kind of make, first of all, because let's face it, Spidey has a very terrible history of making deals with bad guys.
Yes.
But Mike, did Spidey ever like permanently take the Kingpin out of power?
That's true. Yeah.
Let him sit there for
that. Yeah, that's a good fair point.
Did he ever take Venom off the planet? No.
Well, that's what I mean. He's like, because I go back to that one issue where he's basically where Venom says, "Hey, I'll leave you alone if you leave my alone," and Peter and Spider-Man like, "Okay," and it's like, would Spidey actually do that given his responsibility thing, or would same thing with the whole? I mean, there are certain things I wouldn't think he would just let go. Given how he, you know, I mean, it just, to me, it seemed like, it's clever, but I'm not sure if Spider-Man as a character would do that. You know what I mean?
He said he's
never taken the Punisher down.
Yeah.
without having any evidence on him to make him stay in jail. Like, what
Right.
really can he do other than disrupt things?
Yeah, true. I mean, it's just, to me, it was just one of those things I kept grappling kind of like back and forth with that a little bit. It was like, I mean, I liked it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like,
I had a similar problem in my favorite Spider-Man movie, number 2, where he's powerless and sees someone get beat up in an alley and just walks away.
Right.
That's out of character for me.
Yeah.
So I can totally see
100%.
how you can. Yeah. Hornacek says Lowe's paragraph at the end of the letters page says 900 has 2 other stories by David Kibblesmith and Dan Slott, and that's not all. So he's referencing right here, I guess.
Daniel Kibblesmith, the new Warriors.
Oh, is that
no?
him?
Is that the new Warrior guy?
Wow.
That is the guy who was trying to give us Snowflake, Safe Space, Screensaver, who got his powers through his grandfather's internet gas. B negative, and the girl with the magic backpack.
Oh,
that is the man.
It would be absolutely hilarious if he just suddenly introduced those characters in 900 as a way of
For
like.
those of you who doubt JR being the spider historian, he just proved
JR, you're saying these backups are going to be great like usual, right? With that kind of talent. So we got Dan Slott and we got Kibblesmith.
Oh my gosh!
Take my $10.
That's being ripped off. Now, see, that's being. I mean, of course, most of us are going to. George would condemn most of us, for buying it. In fact, that was pretty well. The second most talked about subject last night, other than George's missing Whataburger, was how quote unquote Brad will buy anything. But these backups, these trashy ass backups, and they're terrible. They're almost universally terrible. We're not getting our money's worth. But then again, I better wait till 900. But it's just, God, I'm sick of those things. But anyway.
Oh God, no, says Ryan. No. Obviously, JR is a secret new Warriors super fan.
Well, you have to. I mean, I'm
not worthy.
It happened around. It was supposed to come out. I think it was announced like around the beginning of COVID. And a lot of
released it.
And a lot of YouTubers, I mean, they latched onto it at the same time, and there's a couple pretty hysterical videos. But
I mean, everybody, I mean, even the thing that was supposed to be catering for, they even just like, oh, that's just no thanks.
Yeah, they're like,
just,
no,
you're trying too hard.
Well, I mean, it's like, and not to get too far off topic. I mean, but like the new next Spider-Verse and the the gay Spider-Man. It's like, if you have a superhero who's gay, I don't know. It's just like, for some reason, it seems that comic writers have the idea that every gay person is flamboyant. Will act flamboyant, dress flamboyant. I mean, it's like, you're right. I mean, a lot of people were insulted by Safe Space and Snowflake.
Yeah.
Did JR say snow cone or snowflake? I think it's Snowflake was the name.
It's Snowflake, yeah.
Marcos Martin is drawing the Slott story, so the art will look good.
It's Stan Slott writing Peter and Mary Jane.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, that's an Amazing Fantasy 1000.
Oh, this is something.
This is Amazing Fantasy 1000 is the one that's actually going to have like, that Dan Slott's going to for like, the future of like, Peter and Mary Jane's relationship,
which worries me. He did a great job with Renew Your Vows.
Matt wants to know who's a worse writer, Slott for Spidey or Tom King for Batman. I like Tom King's Batman.
That's a tough. Well, Tom King, I really despised.
You did?
A Batman 50 for the fact that he basically,
where they pulled the rug out of the wedding.
Yeah, when they literally strung readers along for like 2 years worth, and
I don't think that's Tom King. I think that was editorial, wasn't it? Kind of like what they did with Spencer.
Sign off on it too. But it was just one of those things where it's just more like. But then also Tom King got in this whole thing with the Batcat thing, like we're gonna do like even worse. I mean, you think Bendis decompression is bad. Tom King decompression of Batman was just something else.
Josh says that Slott should write a Paul Mary Jane story.
Go away.
Hey, what other cons? We're about 10 minutes till we wrap it up. Any other cons we haven't mentioned?
I have a con.
Okay, go ahead.
The con that I have that Nick Lowe responded back to me in the letter section.
He didn't really answer your question, did he?
He did not. He
Right.
did not even answer the question. And I would like to say, Mr. Lowe, with all due respect, if your most important goal is to try and top stories before you, which includes stories that Stan and Steve did, then you are failing. Winning a race just to cross the finish line better than anyone else is not winning the race.
Yeah.
However, respecting the legacy of the track that you are racing on, like so many other people have done, or anyone else, and coming in and finishing strong without some kind of hidden agenda or misguided personal preference interruption, like Joshua is making right now, makes you the best. In order to tell the best Spider-Man stories, you need to do right by the characters, and more importantly, keep pushing to tell the best Man stories the world has ever seen. When you honor those characters, the continuity before it, and stories that were told before.
Yeah, you're not going to top Stan and Steve, and
You're not.
But
and
you can add to the
trying
legacy. Yeah. JR, have we hit your cons up?
No.
Okay, let me hear them.
First of all, Spidey did not avenge his beatdown at the hand by Tombstone. You know, the fact that he still left ended issue 3 as a whiny little bitch saying, you know, oh, Lonnie, I'm so sorry. No, I mean, I'm so sorry. I learned my lesson. You know, I mean, so like what? He really was serious. That really was serious. He you know, he's
apparently
really
so.
did,
Yeah.
quote, you know, and this idea that I'm sorry. This is the worst of liberalism. Oh, I'm sorry for the problems. No. No, it's it'll be like, you know, no, see you in hell. I will the next time I see you, I will kill you. None of this. Oh, I'm so sorry you had a poor. No.
Well,
bring in the Punisher and blow
The Punisher's evil now, dude. He's with
the Hand.
No, there is no sympathy for people like this. I'm sorry, there is none. There can be.
Yeah, but
none.
that's not Spider-Man, though.
Yeah, that's
Batman.
This is
Spider-Man.
But yeah,
From Amazing
This is the
Spider-Man
same guy who almost
40,
beat the
where he
Kingpin to
wasn't. Well, yeah, but that was a heightened circumstance, though.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you compare like the Goblin, like he figured Norman wasn't in his right mind, so he let him go back to being. I mean, I don't need to tell you this, you know that story.
Yeah, but those,
I
those
think,
were stories from a different time, usually.
Yeah, but
you know, this
to
is
me
the
that was
age.
like his baseline, though. That's who Peter is. He does empathize for other people, whether they're good or evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like he does have some care for him, even though they've done bad things.
Yeah,
because
and
he's done a
this
bad
was too
thing.
much. This
Right.
is too much for me. It appalled me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's
appalled you. I get it. Josh says the only Chi-Town's reaction was the only good thing about Mary Jane's new status quo.
Wow.
Hornacek says a con was the first letter in the letters page said that the Beyond era was full of awesomeness.
Yeah. Well, they got it. Yeah.
Josh says I can do this all night.
I know you can, Joshua. And the Beyond arc was awesome if you like character assassination of Ben Reilly. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Other cons before we wrap it up?
No, that was pretty well it.
Well, just to remind me of the Beyond issues, there's an idea. Maybe the kids maybe Madeline Pryor has something to do with the kids. And Paul, who knows? I mean, maybe because the dark web thing has got to tie in somehow to this, right?
I wanted to get your reactions for what's coming up in the future. Last night on the show, JR and I popped this up from the Marvel website. It shows the upcoming issues, and issues I showed have disappeared.
I did see them.
I know. I've seen them too. I've got them up, but they pulled them. They're the Hobgoblin ones. So let's take a look at them. I saved them.
Oh,
here they are. What do you think of that coming up?
Well,
I think that's issue 12. Look at that John Romita Jr. Hobgoblin. We haven't seen that. It looks so good.
So Spidey following.
Spidey looks awful, but
I mean, he's a goblin.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That is the one thing I am curious about is why would Peter decide? Because even though Norman is quote unquote reformed now, why Peter would decide to work with Norman?
I don't know.
I mean, there's got to be good. There better be a good explanation for that because I mean, that could be. Hey, then maybe that could be the reason why he and Mary Jane are on the outs because he basically maybe she thought, oh, you compromised your integrity because you helped Norman in the past for something.
Check out those pumpkin bombs there.
Oh yeah,
he's not quite the same Norman that pushed Gwen off the bridge,
right? But it's
because
still kind of
sins, whatever.
Right, but it's still hard to but even so, it's if we go back to the Spencer thing, it's still Norman. It's still kind of like there's still that history. It's still kind of hard to take him at face value. I mean, MJ was like, "Yeah, I don't believe you. This is some kind of act of manipulation." Yeah. And even Peter was like, at one point, just like really went off on him or anything like this.
Here is the other issue image that's been pulled. So I love that holding the Hobgoblin mask up.
That is the Goblin Queen's arm, by the way.
Oh, it's not Spider-Man's arm. Oh, those
nice.
Those are female.
Yeah, those are fingernails. So that's the thing. So Kafka and whoever this Hobgoblin is now are in cahoots.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
So do you think Kafka's in the Hobgoblin outfit?
No, or she is basically manipulated whoever this because they're trying to tease like the idea that maybe this may not be Kinsley or Leeds or somebody else or whatever it is. So maybe she's using her evil psychiatry powers now to basically manipulate some poor schlep to become the new Hobgoblin.
Do you guys like a new Hobgoblin mystery with someone in the suit again? Do you like that idea?
No.
Been done.
Been done. Yeah.
Hey, maybe it's Paul. Maybe because there are always people think it's Paul.
Hey, Joshua, Hobgoblin is Paul. Oh no, Joshua. Oh no,
Paul's our new Hobgoblin. Yeah,
that would be perfect.
It's the Paul Goblin.
That would be awesome. Just for Peter to unmask, it's Paul. Oh,
Josh does have a good comment that's not insulting Peter. It's hopefully Zeb Wells will write the Hobgoblin as well as been writing Tombstone. I agree. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he does.
Well, Mike, you just heard Javi though say that it's Peter's nature to forgive people.
But then again,
he's going to forgive the Hobgoblin.
No, he's going to forgive Norman.
There's a history with Norman Osborn there. I mean, it's kind of hard, I think, to forgiveness there. I mean, but then again, it could be one of those things like, oh, I'm making an offer you can't refuse kind of thing. It'd be interesting to because again, there was a hint there that Norman did help Peter within that 6-month gap. And then, but again, we don't know the full context again. That's kind of one of the annoying things about this. It's but so
I'm looking forward to the Hobgoblin. He hasn't been done well since the 90s, right? Or when Roger Stern came back.
Well, especially
the Hobgoblin Mini.
And especially if you factor in Phil Urich's nephew. Oh, was it Phil Urich? If you factor that whole thing in there, where he became like,
that he was the Goblin Knight or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, that whole mess. Yeah. And then they got so
Ryan goes that Paul's already a villain. He's the debt collector. Josh is paying money
Ryan
to insult
that
Peter
the debt
now.
Collector's the new Hobgoblin.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Josh is paying money to insult Peter by saying Paul could be the new Spider-Man.
Paul is the Hobgoblin, Joshua. I'm sorry to tell you.
It probably is.
Maybe just make them clones. Everybody's clones.
The Spider-Verse is so vast. There probably is a universe where Paul is Spider-Man.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man, Javi, you're just
really bad universe.
Well, it's either that or Paul's another Spider-Man clone. Is another Spider-Man clone?
Everyone uses just that Remo app.
Yeah. What you gonna do? The Winkler device is what's making someone else. There you go.
Oh yeah, that thing is.
Hey, that's
a deep cut.
We're going to talk about a little on satellites next. What do you guys think of the Moira skin? And
I'm really confused about that.
I first of all, okay, without the spoiler things, I mean, yeah, it's I mean, obviously they weren't going to kill off Mary Jane, and I still, and by the way, spoilers, I don't think she is that. Without getting into Mitch's, I don't think they did do something bad to her, in that little gap thing. I do think it's kind of annoying because, I mean, you can kind of tell that they wanted to time this issue to come out at the same time as ASM 9, but because of delays, it's going to be, we got to wait 2 months, kind of thing. But honestly, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, it's it's kind of weird that you have to be reading X-Men in order to kind of get a full grasp of what's going on here. And which
I said
so
this last night. I'm
confused
just
reading that
tired of
story.
X-Men on Gilligan's Island. I just just get the Professor X and the Professor and get Gilligan.
It's closer to Gilligan's Island. It's basically if it's like basically nonstop Raven orgies going on. But literally, that's what is going on Krakoa basically most of the time.
I don't see how it matches up with the continuity too, because the 6 months later is really
throwing
that out. Is that did this gala happen before or after the 6 months?
It happened after.
Who cares?
It happened after. Yeah.
All right.
The issue numbers that referenced in the notes were like ASM, whatever it is, 7 and 8.
No, 9. I thought it was 9.
Yeah, it's like 8 or 9. Like 8. Well, 9
is the one with Wolverine on the cover.
That story takes place in between panels at the end of the gala. So what we just read is before the gala.
Right. So in other words, in order to kind of get the full context of the upcoming ACS 9, you have to have read this issue first, wait about 2 months, and then read, thing. Or if you haven't read the gala issue, read the gala issue now if you can stomach it, and then read the.
Well, it is interesting that Firestar and Iceman and Spider-Man are all at the gala, so he's got amazing friends there at the gala.
Oh yeah.
Before we do final thoughts, I want to give you a heads up about what we're doing in just a few minutes. We're probably going to take a little break and then go exclusively to Patreon. We're going to review the following titles. We've got New Fantastic Four, Iron Cat, Carnage, Spider-Punk. Javi is dropping out. He's not going to review these two, the 2099.
Next time.
The Hellfire Gala. The end of Conan teaming up with Cloak and Dagger. We've got Silk for Neil. I don't know if Kelly's going to be on or not. I texted her. I haven't heard back. She's going to review the Fortnite issue, which she did not object to. She said she'd do it. And also, Neil is going to do the controversial, what if Miles Morales became Thor?
That is going to be worth the price of Patreon alone.
That alone.
Neil talk about those issues.
Yes. So patreon.com/crawlspace. We're going to tackle that one in just a few minutes. So you have time to sign up and watch the video live stream over there. All right. Final thoughts, JR.
I'm waiting for Norman to come back. I can't wait.
Yeah. Javi, final thoughts.
I was not excited to relaunch the book. I was not excited for Wells to take over. Yeah, I was excited for John Romita Jr. to return, and not only has he delivered, but I think Wells made something entertaining. And I actually, maybe my expectations were too low going in, but I've loved all 5 of these issues, and I had a blast. And hopefully they can keep it up.
Totally agree with you. I had 0 expectations on Wells because I don't like his writing generally, and I hated the filler, which was Spider-Man Beyond or whatever it was, and it just surprised the hell out of me. Chi-Town, final thoughts. How would you like to injure Joshua in the chat?
Joshua, just go home and you probably are home, so go to bed. Javi, congratulations on your very first. I hope to see more from you in the letters.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for the nod with that particular shot, Chicagoan. So, yeah, I want to see more of Javi on the letter section.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Peter, final thoughts.
I just gave you my final thoughts.
Sorry. I mean, Mike, I'm looking right at him.
I can see why you can easily get confused. But I mean, I think if you do get past the whole what did Peter do during those 6 months thing, this was actually pretty solid. This was actually pretty solidly constructed arc. I mean, God, John Reed Jr. looks like he's improved since he came over from DC. Yeah. Wells, this is probably one of Wells's better stories that he's ever put out. I just think it's a pretty solid kind of street level gang war style setup. Definitely made Tombstone. Brought him out of the C-list category of villains and put him back
up to B.
At the very least. So I think it's just a pretty solid opening act or everything like that.
All right. That is it. I will see you all on Patreon in just a few minutes. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.